Tzu Chi's rice distribution in Cebu is carried out by Tzu Chi scholarship recipients. Tzu Chi volunteers provide vegetarian lunch boxes for firefighters to promote vegetarianism. Welcome to our headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. In the Philippines, Tzu Chi volunteers plan to distribute rice to more than 80,000 families. The distribution in Cebu was carried out by mostly Tzu Chi scholarship recipients. They carry out epidemic preventative measures when conducting the distribution.
Makita nimo sa smile sa mga tao nga happy sila, so happy na pod ni even though kapoy jud siya. Tzu Chi cares for you. Kumain.
25 Tzu Chi scholarship recipients work together with love to help the needy. The young people are physically strong, hardworking, and efficient. As they give of themselves, they also accumulate experience.
Although the weather is hot and the work is tiring, when the resident said, "Thank you," I felt deeply touched. Everything has been worthwhile.
We worked till 11 o'clock, and now we are hungry.
We wanted to buy some biscuits as lunch. When we were about to pay, the store owner said they are free. He said that we have worked hard. In addition, many people poured water for us.
Social distancing is maintained at the outdoor distribution. The volunteers deliver the rice to the houses of the seniors and patients with mobility issues.
This is not the first time we are receiving help from Tzu Chi. During the epidemic time, we are especially thankful for the help.
We are very blessed nga nahatagan, and I am very happy sa inyo hasal happy.
The volunteers distribute rice to more than 3,000 families in need, so they do not have to go hungry during the epidemic time. The Sri Lankan High Commission in Singapore has received a call for help from at least 500 Sri Lankan students in Singapore. Due to the epidemic, these students' families have been impacted financially. In addition, the cross-country mining wiring services have been affected. Therefore, these students are facing financial difficulties. Tzu Chi volunteers prepared 250 sets of daily supplies to relieve these students' financial burdens. Piles of food ingredients, dry food, and daily supplies are for Sri Lankan students in Singapore.
We received a call from Sri Lankan High Commission in Singapore. Due to the epidemic, many students are facing financial difficulties. They hope we can help them.
As Singapore is under a partial lockdown, less than 10 volunteers packed 250 sets of daily supplies. They included a Jingsi consolation letter in St. Hollis.
They are from Sri Lanka and many do not have friends or relatives here. At least we let them know that we do good deeds regardless of nationalities. We still care for them regardless of whether or not they are foreigners. These students will receive our Jingsi aphorisms as gifts.
Bags of supplies come with the volunteers' best wishes. They hope these foreign students will get through the epidemic time in good health and safety, so their families will not have to worry about them. In the United States, ophthalmologist Lin Mengjie, who's also a TIMA doctor, is aware of the risks faced by medical personnel. She has invited Los Angeles City volunteers to make face shields for medical professionals. They made more than 2,000 face shields, which were delivered to hospitals and eye clinics. As an ophthalmologist, TIMA Dr. Lin Mengjie understands the risks of close contact medical consultation. She has mobilized volunteers to make face shields.
From the social media, I learned that Dr. Lin needs help in making face shields. So today, I took some materials for making face shields and donated some money.
Many Tzu Chi brothers and sisters made donations and contribute efforts. We collected about $2,200. We plan to make about 1,600 face shields, but the money we collected can allow us to make 3,000 face shields.
To make so many face shields in a short time, volunteers must be efficient. Ling Mengjie has included a sample sketch in the materials for volunteers. This way, the volunteers can be more precise when they cut the materials.
The team has been making them for 2 days, working from more than 10 hours a day. I'm very grateful.
The materials have been turned into protective face shields. These finished products will be delivered to hospitals and, most importantly, eye clinics.
And I was very surprised of the ingenuity, how it was made, simplified but yet very efficient. And I want to thank you so very much of thinking of us.
We can tell everybody that comes in, we got it from your organization. Okay, so it's very good.
Making face shields to protect medical personnel, volunteers are providing the most practical support to these unsung heroes. The fire in Kaohsiung caused 5 deaths, so the volunteers went there to conduct a Buddha Day ceremony in a traditional market. This special outdoor ceremony settled the uneasy feelings of the residents. Come to pray to the Bodhisattvas for our peace and safety.
Unlike other vendors, Tzu Chi volunteers set up the platform for Buddha Day ceremony in a traditional market because recently there was a fire in a residential house nearby.
Through this activity, our heart can be comforted. I really wish Superintendent Lai and his family can get out of the grief soon.
The master said the volunteers need to stabilize the society, so we think that at this moment we should inspire everyone to worship the Buddha together to ease our mind.
In order to comfort people's hearts and taking into account the current epidemic, volunteers cooperated with the vendors to host an outdoor Buddha Day ceremony.
Our boss also agrees with Tzu Chi's philosophy. This ceremony setting allows everyone who comes to go shopping to join in this special Buddha Day ceremony, which can also calm their minds.
This stall vendor, who is also one of our volunteers, set aside this space for us to build affinities with the public in this market.
Volunteers in blue and white uniforms shuffle through the market, inviting the public and store vendors to join the simple and solemn ceremony so that the public's uneasy feelings in the past few days could be calmed.
In Taiwan, every year, nearly 10,000 patients wait for an organ transplant, but those receiving organ donations are limited. There's a patient, Zhang Qingjiang, who has undergone a heart transplant at Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital 10 years ago. He's very grateful to the organ donor. Therefore, he has joined the ranks of volunteers to pay back to society. Tzu Chi volunteers are working as a team to build a checkup station for suspected COVID-19 patients. Among the volunteers is a patient who has undergone heart transplant surgery at Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital, Zhang Qingjiang.
I was saved by Tzu Chi Hospital. Therefore, if people ask me to volunteer, I would say yes.
After the heart transplant surgery, Zhang has joined the ranks of volunteers. He has won the honor of hospital's outstanding volunteer. Back in 2010, Zhang, who was a laborer, faced the threat of deteriorating heart function. After a successful heart transplant surgery, Zhang was moved to tears. Having suffered from illnesses for more than 10 years, he was finally given a second chance at life thanks to an organ donor.
I'm grateful to my doctor, Zhen Dazhong. I'm grateful to the organ donor's family for the organ donation.
Full of gratitude, Zhang volunteers to reciprocate to the society. He often cares for other patients, and he has also agreed to donate his organs to other patients.
My heart was given to me by other people. I have this vow today. I've signed the organ donor card.
Every organ transplant patient has to endure the risk of the surgery and a long rehabilitation process. It is a medical process that involves several medical teams. Through the Hospital Organ Donor Association's arrangement, these patients can care for each other. They're grateful to be given a second chance at life. In Taipei City, city volunteers are promoting vegetarianism by hitting the streets and gathering signatures from the community. Meanwhile, vegetarian lunch meals were sent to firefighters.
Days after the fire in Taipei's Cashbox Party World KTV, Tzu Chi continues to send their care. Kitchen volunteers prepare a delicious vegetarian lunch for the firefighters of the Songjiang branch. They were one of the teams which assisted in fighting the fire.
We are taken care of on a regular basis. The volunteers visit us often and share food with us. I wish for everyone to stay safe. Of course, during rescue missions, we will take care of ourselves, so you don't have to worry about us.
Volunteers are not only sharing with firefighters the delicious lunch meals, but also making 400 box lunches and vegetarian promo cards with the community.
We hope the community continues to eat vegetarian food, so if they fill out the card with their promise of being a vegetarian for a week, then we'll give them a week's worth of food voucher for the nearby participating vegetarian restaurants, which will give them $30 NT off of food purchases.
Hitting the streets to promote vegetarianism on this day is especially meaningful to the volunteers.
Today is the first day we're promoting the vegetarian campaign, and it's also Buddha's birthday, so it's especially auspicious, which means we must invite more people to join us and respond to vegetarianism.
Many a little makes a mickle in this race to maintain the Earth's sustainability.
During the epidemic, many people stay at home to reduce the chance of infection. A Tzu Chi in Myanmar took this opportunity to promote vegetarianism on the internet. He uploaded pictures of vegetarian dishes every day on the Tzu Chi Myanmar Facebook platform.
To awaken everyone's soul of cooking, during the pandemic, Shen Mingdu, a chichen in Myanmar, did not go out but promoted vegetarianism through the internet.
Every day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I will upload a picture of vegetarian food to invite everyone to go meatless. Gradually, the number of followers on the Tzu Chi Myanmar Facebook platform increases. Normally, I'll upload 4 times a day. I feel that even if I stay at home, I'm also doing good deeds.
Seeing the post on the Facebook platform, the school teachers were deeply affected and inspired all students to eat 2 vegetarian meals a day.
Vegetarian food is actually as healthy as meat food. As long as you don't buy meat food, you will reduce the number of animals being slaughtered. Although we are not having meatless diet every day, we will pray for all people safe and healthy when we have vegetarian food.
Vegetarian cuisine contains all kinds of nutrition, but the key to really touching the taste buds is the pure mind of the chef.
The feelings of cooking vegetarian and meat food are not the same. When cooking vegetarian food, I feel calmer. There are a lot of novices, nuns, and staffs here. The calming effect would be great if everyone embraces vegetarianism.
The appeal on the internet is powerful, allowing more people to experience the charm of vegetarian diets.
Fan Wei-en was born out of a vegetarian pregnancy. She's now 80 years old, and for her birthday, she wished to share vegetarian food with more people. Her mother, who's a city volunteer, came up with a special way to make her daughter's wish come true.
我生日的时候呢，要请那些奶奶或者是爷爷来吃那个我们素食餐厅的饭，我觉得蛮开心的。
你的愿望是什么？
希望大家会吃素，然后这个传染病毒会没有掉。
To make her daughter's 8th birthday wish come true, Tzu Chi volunteer Chen Hui-jen, as a vegetarian restaurant owner, prepared 100 box lunches in her daughter's honor and gave them to society's unsung heroes.
There's a tradition at our house, which is to eat vegetarian food on our birthdays. For reasons of it being our mother suffered for us on that day, so we must pay gratitude to her, as well as being a vegetarian can bring us a lot of blessings.
Fang Wei-en has been a vegetarian since birth. She has plenty of knowledge in the diet and can even make her own vegetarian food.
Being a vegetarian is healthy for our body because sometimes meat is not very nutritious for us. It also makes us gain weight and sometimes brings about sickness.
Despite being a vegetarian, she's healthy and full of energy. The proof is in the pudding for all the awards she has gotten.
The award is from a dance competition. This is the Iron Kids competition. This one is as well.
A body full of positive energy, Wei-en makes a wish each year to continue being a vegetarian and sharing the lifestyle with more people.
39-year-old Cai Tiansheng in Fujian province had polio when he was young and he can't walk normally. He was very insecure introvert until Tzu Chi volunteers came into his life 5 years ago. Now he has gradually opened his heart and become a recycling expert.
In April or May 2015, when we visited him, he was wearing 9 layers of thick clothes in summer, which has made us feel strange. He was introvert and refusing to the outer world.
39-year-old Cai Tiansheng suffered from polio on his both legs. However, he still goes out twice a day to collect recyclables from 1 to 3 a.m. in the midnight and in the morning.
He said at that time he can't really sleep yet and most people are resting, so many litter their garbage out. At that time he can get more garbage, then he will come back to have breakfast and go out again. He collects garbage at least 2 times a day.
Due to his body's disadvantage, he is very insecure since young, until Tzu Chi volunteers walk into his life and slowly open his heart.
I took him to the nursing home to cut hair for the seniors and the care recipients, so he can feel his value.
After his mindset change, he is fully committed to recycling and is now a recycling expert. Volunteers and Cai Tiansheng's active dedications have inspired many in the neighborhood to become recycling volunteers.
We know how to do recycling and to serve. It's really joyful and touching. I often said from my heart that I will do this till my last breath.
We seniors can't do much, but sorting these recycled materials are doing a good act. This is what I think.
Cai Tiansheng has used his body and talent to lead a new, meaningful, and colorful life.
In 1994, the American mathematician John Nash won the Nobel Prize in economics. He suffered from schizophrenia. Despite these challenges, he continued to shine in the world of mathematics. However, for the more than 120,000 mentally challenged people in Taiwan, most of them battle stigmas and find it difficult to return to the community.
The fragrance is tangy, and this is the special cooking skill of Tzu Chi. She suffered from schizophrenia and studied in this workshop for 2 years.
The teacher instructed us in great details. I think I can do better than others and maybe even be able to teach this.
Fully confident in her abilities now, but this was not the case when she first entered this workshop.
Ordinary people would think that mentally impaired people may not be able to do things well, so their self-confidence will also be poor. By coming to her work, they can regain confidence in themselves.
I'm at Mama Son's workshop in Taipei City. There are 29 people with the same mental illness like Tzu Chi. They receive different work training here, and about 10 people with such disabilities regularly come back to this workplace every year. Vocational training is excellent, but Tzu Chi's condition cannot be completely eliminated. There will always be some challenges.
A lot of laughs as they say that taking care of me is hard and I can't be on my own and live independently.
This mental patient wrote down her worries and read them aloud. 27-year-old Tzu Chi still relies on her parents for care because of her illness.
If a child is willing to do things on their own, they'll have more confidence.
Tzu Chi wants to find a job and get rid of her financial dependence on her parents. It may not be easy for mentally handicapped people to find a job. According to statistics, there are more than 1.13 million people with physical and mental disabilities in Taiwan, among whom there are more than 127,000 people with chronic mental illnesses, accounting for 11% of the total number of disabled people. However, the employment rate of the mentally handicapped accounted for only 6% of this total, indicating that it's more difficult for the mentally handicapped to find a job than the physically handicapped.
These companies who are required to hire a disabled person would rather hire someone who has physical disability, such as a spinal cord injury or polio, rather than someone who has schizophrenia.
Tzu Chi says that some people can't tell she has a mental illness. After her condition became stable, she had vocational training during the day and lived in an ordinary home at night. Physical and mental health is the biggest wish of Tzu Chi. Only after the onset of the disease did she know her own psychological problems could be as harmful as physical pain. Fortunately, she was able to get her life back on track. However, there are many people with mental disabilities that are not as lucky as she is.
Many mentally impaired patients leave the hospital, but their families and society cannot accept them. In fact, they still cannot return to the community.
In recent years, the Taiwanese government has signed various international human rights conventions. In 2014, all persons with physical and mental disabilities should have equal rights to live in the community, including people with disabilities. This includes integration and participation in community activities. The Shanyang Club of Taipei City is a place for handicapped friends to gather during the day to study and undertake rehabilitation. It's located in an open space and community building.
The mentally handicapped come in and are relatively normal. They come in and eat and are also very kind and do not cause any trouble.
Many countries in Europe and America have all disbanded mental hospitals as much as possible and have switched to a large-scale, community-based rehabilitation institutions.
Letting the mentally ill regain the dignity of being a normal person means that the next time you encounter such a person in your community, you should smile and be kind. This little encouragement may actually help them take a step forward instead of falling a step back.
As Mother's Day is approaching, the seniors at Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital's nursing home have made paper carnations. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.